Okay, that's good number. So it means all of you can be able to. Can you do that? Let me share my screen. A platform where you can use it to learn basic of Python. So I don't expect us to create a variables. It's a it's able to go through and learn how to do that declarations. That's why I shared the link where you can be able to learn all that. uh, so I'm trying to, okay, excellent. Let me share all my screen with you here. IHEMHT. So this is what I'm talking about. To all these guidelines is something you can do it in a day. Okay. Or an intermediate and the for, as well as declaring some basic. Who among you has gone through all this? None. Partially, how many? Okay, one, two, only two. What of you? Was you right? Victoria, were you able to do it? To go through this guide? Okay, so I think it's very study this. Today, my expectation, then we can start developing. For me, what matters, right? And believe you me, you cannot do this. I mean, you cannot be able to without going through this. And in this little time we have, for us to go through this. Go through this. This will tell you, you can click on this on your computer. You should be able to for them to be sure that Python is installed. So here I've installed the IDE. Okay. Try IDE. That means this have installed everything the way this arrange, but we need to test and find out if Python is installed. True, right? But like I've said, we don't have the time. What we have to do in the class is developing application, look at different case studies to fast through creating, so if you can take your time and study this, do it on your machine. But briefly, let me show, verify if the installation you have IDEs installed on my computer. I also have PyCharm to test if Python is installed on my machine or not. Conditional tools that are installed on machines. For those that do have Windows prompt, right? You all know command prompt. Then for those that are using, so I'm going to open my terminals. I have, let me open my terminal. Let me zoom. If you open the terminal, let me zoom it so that I have to increase the view. Terminal settings. Be able to see it very clear. Excellent. So if you have Python have been outlined by one of the students, you need to type in Python. When you version of Python install on your computer, okay, as well as other informations, you can be able to see all details. But what I want to have Python installed on your machine, you need to type in Python. When you type in Python, you should have the version of Python that is installed on your computer. If you have to be able to confirm if it's working or not. So it means here and copy this. And we are asking Python to print hello world. And when you see that I have Python working on my computer. Confirm if I have the IDE so that I can use it to create a. For those of us with MacBook, or if you have your Windows computer, I recommend you create a folder, your desktop directory, so that each you can be able to do it inside. Are we together? So engineering, okay, SE, computer now. So it means whatever I'm doing inside this main directory, so that at any time I have my. Are we together? So I believe 1, 2, 3, 4. How many do we have that install Python? Can you please so that we can decide to either use PyCharm or VS Code, right? I want to know how many. Please confirm very well. Are they here? Okay, excellent. So then we are going to use PyCharm for most of them VS Code. Take let's do consensus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it means, do we agree to go? Okay, excellent. So we are going to PyCharm and install it so that we can be on the same page, right? Got a project that I started. PyCharm. When you open your PyCharm, you should be able to have this view. These are some of the projects I have. So if you don't have, so open your PyCharm. We want to or try and see if most of these instructions that are here, like I've said, the essence of today's training is application. But very unfortunate, I think just pure. So for us to be able to familiarize ourselves with Python, how Python, try and apply some of this and then explain it briefly, then and do more hands-on. I'm going to click on new projects, okay? Like I've said, I have my own version of enterprise, or it's a licensed copy. So maybe some of you will not. So that is it, because I have a paid version of PyCharm. I believe all of you do have pure Python, right? Excellent. So we are going to use that. So location for you to be able to locate to your desktop where you created the SE folder on our desktop called SE, right? Software engineering. Okay, excellent. So I am going to click on SE often. After that, I still need to add another project. that support time. If we have a case study project, we can be so that we have everything properly organized. I hope I'm not rushing. / so the folder should be called let me just call it practical, because all are we together? So if I do that, I'm going to click on create. The version of my Python is different from yours. Whenever I'm creating a project, it do create something called virtual environment. It's a kind of a location that I can be able to store, like you install Django and other support for me to be able to write a code. Like I've said earlier, everybody can write code, but the ability for you to use third-party support and develop an application in a short time, that's what differentiates. And also, I think I shared a book called Clean Code. Are you able to go through? How far? Is what I'm saying is you don't have to read the book all. You can just read some part of it. Okay? So this is what I have. I have file.py, main file.py. So in Python, it's just like in Microsoft Word. The file extension comes with what? .docx. Then if you are creating a file for PowerPoint, you see the extension end with what? PPT. CDR. So that's how it is. So if you are creating Python files, it's do you understand? If you create any Python files, it ends with what? .py, just like this one we have. Main.py. Main in my screen. I hope this will enable me to zoom in so that we can be able to see properly. Whenever you are creating your Python project, py, you understand? It means this is a Python project. Do you understand? So excellent. So, but we have something new here, which we haven't discussed about. As a beginner, when you have this, you'll be confused that, why will I have EF print high? That's called a method, but we are not going to even delete this file and create our own file. So let me just delete a pure project so that we can write whatever we want to write. We just have the folder and then the EMB. You don't have to have the EMB. We can handle things. So we are going to create a file called practical one. Okay. Practical one. Do we need to put .py? Excellent. So it means that so we have so in this we can simply work with this part. Okay. If this will work. So we are going to type in print world, right? How do you test this? Now, the difference between those command prompt and terminal, it has a lot of support that you can be able to use it. Now, this has under it, it has what? A terminal. When you click under, you will have this. Run this. Who can tell me how do I run this file? For those of you that are 1.py, how do I run it using the terminal? I have opened terminal, right? So how do I run this print word? Print. Yeah, I've opened a terminal, and from the terminal, I want to run that file. What? Sorry? So that means based on the terminals, based on the to help you run the program. But we are beginners. How do we run the files manually by ourselves? How do you do that? It means there are all Python then the file name, but as long as we are in a Python environment, well, which is practical, right? Practical .py. I think practical1.py. Inside the folder is practical1.py. Is to type in one. This is one other method. It's not recognizing it, while the other method in Python, then you call in the name. Are we together? .py. The first one failed to work, but anytime that a project or a Python file from your Python, then you what? This is the command. Let me put it clearly so that from where they are. This is called comment. 1, 2, Python code. File name. And the second part is file name. file name.py. So it's two ways, right? In other one, in is to type in the file, while in other ones, file name.py and hit. Our file name is called practical1. And when you hit enter, it will work. In Python, that will work. You understand? Python, the file. Are we together? If you have run it, let me see. 3, 4. Complaining of my voice, right? Is this the from your network? Will it cut to it? Are we good? So the IDE, like those of you that are complaining, the IDE is just a machine. Let me try using BS Code. The same process for BS Code. Let me open my BS Code. BS Code. Okay. Syntax error. So check your code. Of course, it's the same process. The same process, okay? Look at it. Okay, you can start, you can create, instead of project, you are creating what? If you are creating a folder, let me see. Yeah, you can create your folder and open it here. So already we have a folder in our desktop. So if you have that folder, using your IBS code, just click on what? Open folder, SE, right? This is the project we've created, but let's create a different project. Just open the folder, leave it empty, and let's call this one Practical 2 so that those online can see it. So this is the folder we have, or this is the project that we created using PyCharm. So now we are going to create a project using what? BS Code. The same thing, I'll go and create a new file. When you are creating this new file, what I will advise you to do is BS Code does not have much support as compared to PyCharm. BS Code is an open source tool, right? While PyCharm, they can give you some basic support, but if you want to have all the support, you have to pay. Between paid software and free, which one has more capacity? Excellent. So what I will do, I can create a folder here. You see we have two options, file and folder. Can we see that? So I'll create this folder as a project. Folder, and I'll call it practical BS. Well, let me change this one. I can simply change it, but it's okay. This is practical BS. So we are going to create our Python practical file using this one. So what I would need to do, you see, I have to click on this folder. When I click on it, I'll click on this icon that says new file, right? When I do that, I can call it practical2.py. And I have my practical2.py file. Similarly here, I will write my code. So let me write my Python code. There we type in this command, print, right? Okay, I'm trying to see where to increase from. How to increase in these two, see, edit. Oh, let me see, settings. VS Code has, okay, text editor, page size. Let me see where to increase the font size. Maybe under formatting. I don't know how to increase the size, but we'll find it out. Okay, seed font size. Font. Let's see 24. So let's leave it as 24 and see if it has increased. Is this better? This is better, right? 24. So excellent. So hello world. So how do you run it? The same things. Here we have terminal. So you see under here, you have the language that is selected as Python. But first of all, make sure you have Python installed. Don't go and struggle trying to run a code while you don't have Python installed. So for us to be able to run this code and find out whether it's working here, you need to click on these where it shows some kind of a little icon. Then under it, you have this terminal. Are we together? Under you have terminal. So this is the terminal I have. Don't forget, don't go and try. If I run this command, it is not going to work because look at my file path. It says and MacBook Pro and S. That means I'm not inside that project. It means if I want to run this file, let me bring it out here. If I want to run the program, I want to run this practical 2 that is inside practical-bs. I have to go inside that folder. So I will do this cd, okay, practical-bs, then hit enter on my keyboard. So let me do that from here. cd practical-bs, I'm inside. Then from there, I can be able to run this command. But this time around, instead of practical 1, we are doing it what? Practical2.py. Let me bring it like this so that we can all see it. Today we're having a little bit of network issues. So it means there's no difference between running your program in VS Code and Python. The only difference is what? The environment. Maybe some other method will be simplified in this tool, while the other one you have to add more extra effort before you can be able to do it. Are we all together? So excellent. So the next part that we need to learn is, this is like a kind of introduction to Python. So that is why I said you have to go and learn this. Go and study this. It's something you can do within 30 to 40 minutes. Peruse through the content. When you've done this, you should be able to get ready for our project. So this is introduction, which tell you more about Python, right? It is in the slide I provided last time. If you have gone through the slide, the link to this website is there. On the last slide I shared during my first lectures with you. Okay? But if it still doesn't, I think goes power, you can share the link with them. Yeah, it's w3school.com/python/python. Just put /python. You have all the guidelines. So I would recommend you take time and study this, okay? Like I've said, we don't have time to go through this and start explaining. We've done this in the first lectures, while the other one is to really understand how to set up your machine for the Python, which I believe assignment was given on how you can install Python on your computer. Then the next part is something called syntax. like I've said, the time is not there for us to talk of all these basic things, right? It's something you can do it yourself. Python syntax. This is what we've done just now, right? Writing hello world, then coming down to other functionality. So let's do this one. Look at another Python program. This one is talking about syntax. What is a syntax? What is a syntax? A syntax is how you, in a layman language, when you talk about syntax, it means how you communicate everything. Python has its own language or method of communication. It's just like you, I am Hausa, you are Igbo, you are Yoruba. If I write in Hausa or you write in Igbo, and you that you are Hausa, you don't know how to read Igbo, will you understand it? Yes. No, you don't understand it, right? You understand? So a syntax, it means how we write in a language. Do you understand that simple explanation? When you say a syntax in computer science or in software engineering, it means how we write particular messages in a language. So you can take example of our language in Nigeria, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, and other languages. It means the way you write in this language is not the same thing you write in this language. So when you're talking about syntax, is how we communicate, right, in software engineering. So we have seen how to write a message and print out hello world. Now this is another one. This is something called, it's a syntax, but it has an argument. Computing is all about what? Do this, don't do this. If you are playing game, there will be something there, another one. You are fair. So if you toss here, you are putting a point. So that's all about computing. So when you look at this one, look at this example here. It's telling you about syntax. This syntax tells you that if 5 is what? Then 2, then print out this. Is this true? Is 5 greater than 2? So let us do it in our computer. So we are going to write this. So if I write this, if 5 is greater than 2, what will happen? You need to put this and hit enter. So we can print out, you can see the statement is true. You see? So let us run the code and see. The same thing, Python, right? Practical 1.py and hit enter. What do we have as a result? The statement is what? Is true. So let's check the statement. If 2 is greater than what? 5. Print out this statement. So let's see. We don't have anything. So do you see how the programming works? It's all about understanding this. So that is why I said for you to be able to do very well in writing or in developing application based on case studies, you need to go through this guideline. You understand? Because the application we are developing, they are basically going to wrap around looking at problem, maybe looking at attendance system. In attendance system, you are writing the same thing. You are writing argument, you are writing statement. If this happen, do this. If this happen, do this, right? So you need to take your time and do this. Are we together? So also look at another statement under this guideline. If 5 is greater than 2, print this. If 5 is less than 2, all these are part of statement, but we can do as complex, as more complex as this one. I mean, we can do a lot. But what matters is you need to pass through this guideline so that you can be able to structure it yourself. We can write our own statement by ourselves. We can forget about this, but for us to do it on our own, that means we need to understand how to do it here. Right? So we can do any of this. So like I've said, we don't have the time to write all these ones. Any questions? How many minutes do we have? About 20 minutes. So ask question if you have from online. Let's have questions. So in absence of no question, let's do a wrap up. I mean, let's recap all the processes. I'm going to close all the IDEs to do it again. Yes. Yes. It's not compulsory. It is called name convention. We have a lot of naming convention, right? We have camel casing and the rest. So what I will do is maybe we have to do assignment around that area for you to understand how you can name your variable. So that is why I said you should go and study that book. If you have studied clean code, you should be able to understand naming convention. That means you have a lot to do. So it's called naming convention. We can decide to say, okay, we just want to use 1, 2, 3, but we want to have the file name in a layman language so that anybody who sees it can understand what the file is talking about. Right? Any other question?
You are stating how to name a file. Say we must add the UI. In some other cases, when you just read the file without actually naming it, to generate
the extension.
So you will see something like IDY and something. So you see that the extension differs, or all of them are basically going to just be that way.
Okay, so this is very good question. Some IDEs are intelligent. We have intelligent IDEs. Like PyCharm is a very intelligent IDE. Look at this. To answer your question, we can go practical. If I want to have a file without me writing the extension here, I'll click on File. Are you seeing it? New. When you click on New, you can see you have different types of what? File that I can create. I don't know why it runs here. So file, I can create SQL's data. Again, I don't know why it's showing this. File. Okay. Okay, so I can click on New here. File, New. Maybe this is for my settings. I need to add it up. So, but any file you select here, the extension, you don't have to write it by yourself. Let's also go back to PyCharm. VS Code. In VS Code as well, if I want to have the file without adding the extension, I can click on Files, New File. You can see if I select Python file, I don't have to write the extension. Let's take it. You see? On title 1, let me save it. You see, the extension has already automatically been generated. I didn't write it myself. So if I'm to name this, I can say practical 3. The PY is there already, you see? I have practical 3.py. So some IDEs, they're intelligent enough to decide to know what type of files you want to write. But as a beginner, you should always think in your mind that, okay, let me do it myself. Right? Any other question? Sorry? I didn't hear. Wow. So you have a lot of friends. You can work with them to guide you on how to catch up. Okay. So any other question?
As for me, this is your question. This is your first question. In your last mistake, you said that you need to
Yes,
that's
yes.
why I did now because of something you but I have three different things.
Mm.
So
So I think we've sent email to some students that are using Abuja to come for physical classes. If you are part of those that receive the email, whether you are taking software engineering, data analytics, and any of the courses, just come to the practical class. When you come to base, I believe most of the lectures are conducted here at Block C or Para Hall, right? So when you come, there is attendance given at the end of every class. Put in your name and your ID. You're automatically part of the physical student. You just come. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay. So it's fine. You submit your name here. That's all. No wahala. We'll just document you. We're still counting. When we have the enough number, we tell you that we don't need more physical student. But it's okay if you are just coming. I do receive email. It's fine. We accommodate you until we get the certain number we want. Any other question? Then for those coming for the first time, not registered. They have to work with our team to see how they can be documented fully. Any other one? Okay, so we have this. Uh, on Saturday, we had a meeting with the leads for all the courses. Every course do have a lead. So the lead will be the one to upload your name on the learning management platform. So that is why we are compiling the physical names and those online. Yeah, so they will do it by themselves. So for those online, we are very sorry. We have a lot of network issue. So for those online that have said we have a network issue, so but I'm going to recap what we've done. Once again, assignment was given last week on how you can install Python, VS Code, as well as Django on your computer. I have a student submission here. This is a guideline on how you can go to the website, download the Python, install it, as well as even running over to discuss now. So in summary, what you discussed today is to confirm if you have a Python installed based on given assignment, right? So to do that, if you have Windows computer, you have to open command prompt. If you have MacBook, you have to open terminal. So I have MacBook on my computer, so I'm going to open terminal. When you open terminal, you need to type in Python and hit enter on your keyboard to confirm if you have Python installed. As you can see, I have Python 3.9 installed on my computer. So that means I am ready to write Python program. So if that's the case, I told you that for you to have an organized way of writing code, you need to create a folder where you can centralize all your project inside. So quickly, I'm going to create another folder called summary. So whatever I'm going to do, whatever project I'm creating, I am going to push it inside this summary. So already I have VS Code installed on my computer, right? So I'm going to open the VS Codes. Let me close it so that they don't see that we've done, so that are joining late. So VS Codes. When you open the VS Code, okay, you need to open that folder we just created on our desktop. So let me expand it. Sorry, a minute. Okay. I think my VS Code is misbehaving. Let me close it and open it again. It's misbehaving, so let's use PyCharm. Okay, I have PyCharm, I have VS Code. All of them do have the same process. So I'll open PyCharm. So when you open PyCharm, you need to open that folder we created on our desktop. So I'll click on open. The folder is on my desktop and I have it here called summary. Open. So here I have an empty folder with no projects. Empty folder with no project. But look at Python, it has automatically created a file for me, but I don't need that file. So we need to close it and delete it completely and create our own Python code. So I'm going to delete this file. So this is deleted, we don't have anything. We just open the folder we created on our desktop. So we want to practicalize, or we want to follow this guideline here, this one, which for you to have this, you have to go back to the slide that was shared last week. At the end of the slide, we have a link attached to these resources, right? So when you go back here, we want to create a simple Python program that we can be able to copy the code that are here and then run it. So what I need to do, I have to create a file, right click, select new. Okay, the file name is going to be, let me say, practical 1, right? And we must put the extension, right? Which is dot what? .py. Dot. Hit enter on your keyboard, and we have a project created. Let me zoom it in. So it means whatever we are learning here, here we can be able to either copy the file or type it manually. So if I want to type in this and use my IDE, I can just type in print hello world. So for you to run this, I've said you have to click on terminal, right? When you click on terminal, you must type in Python before the file name, right? You must type in Python before the file name. So my file name is called practical1.py. If I hit enter, I then have the result as hello world. Then the second part of today's lectures, I believe we'll try other part which is under introduction, that's Python introduction. When you scroll down, okay, I think it's under syntax. So when you move under syntax, we have this, which we define syntax as with a way to write in any computer language. If you have Python, we have a way we write Python syntax. If you have Java, you have C#, they all do have their own method of writing syntax or writing their own code. And I gave simple example of syntax as what? How we write in our language. If you are Yoruba, you are Hausa, is different. If Hausa man is writing in Hausa, is different from how Igbo man write in Igbo, right? So that's how programming language is. So when you talk of syntax, it means how you write or how you communicate in these languages, in these computer languages, either Python, C#, and the rest, right? So we now wrote this other one. We said, okay, this is like an argument. We are telling the IDE that if 5 is greater than 2, then we should have this, which in a normal sense, 5 is greater than 2, right? So let's go back and write the program. So we said if what? 5 is greater than 2, then we should have print the statement is true. When you come back here and type in the same thing, Python practical1.py, you hit enter, you will have this printed. But if you change the argument to this, is the argument true? Automatically you see that it has changed. But when you put it correctly, what happened? It's not highlighted because the computer already knows that what you are doing is correct. But if you change it to a wrong argument, it automatically highlighted that this is not true. So if I come back here and hit enter, I will not have any result. Thank you so much. I think that was discussed. Yeah. This is just the beginning. We have a lot. Else statement, if else, that's different scope. If you are talking of else statement, that means we are going down to what? If else, we have a lot of them. So that is why I said, as part of your assignment, as part of what you need to do, go back home and practicalize on all these. When you can be able to do this, then you'll be very good in the practical aspect that we are going to start. So assignment. No, this is the assignment. Your assignment will be on this. The assignment will be on this. So let me give the assignment first before you ask some of their questions. So this is the link. Using any IDE, right? What is IDE? Using any IDE, create a Python project, right? And address, do we say it all? Because I know some of you will not have time to do all this. So let's say from, okay, let's just agree from syntax, right, until Python string formatting. Is this okay? From syntax until what? Python string formatting. So using any IDE, create Python project and address practical under starting from Python syntax, right, to Python string formatting. That I think that's the last one. When do you think you can finish? Thursday is when? Thursday is when? Let's have the date. I mean date, written. Okay. That's too short. I mean that's too. You have today, you have tomorrow. Let's look at the calendar. I think in 3 days you should be able to do this. Yes. That's for you, clean cut. So you have today, that's one. Tomorrow, two. Next tomorrow, three. Yeah, you still have hours from 8 in the night. 3 days, 4 days. So I expected your assignment on Monday, 27th. So when do you want to submit? I think this is okay. You see, you don't have much to do. When you look at all this, doesn't have anything much. Look at it. From syntax, variables, all these are short. Yes.
I want to save each of them as files independently.
Well, if you want, that is why you are learning. So some of you may decide to create it as individual file. When you come to syntax, maybe you can create a file called syntax.py. When you come to comment, maybe you can create it comment.py. But it determines, I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can do it in one file, all of it. I'll share I'll share a Google form. You compress the file and attach it. Like now, you see, I have given you a very good clue. Look at it. Look at it here. I've said whatever you are doing, you should do it inside a folder. So that means when you're doing the assignment, you should create a folder and put all those files inside. So if you are to submit, just compress it like this. For those of you who smart, compress and then upload it on the Google form. Or you zip. Sorry? It's zipping, right? It's all compressing. It's all called compress. So let me explain better. Using any IDE, that means uh, PyCharm, right? VS Code. So these are some of the IDs. You can use any of the ID you are compatible with. So using any IDE, create Python project and address practicals under this, starting from Python syntax, okay, to Python string formatting. So I'll provide with the Google form. I'll provide with the Google form. So any other question? Okay. Work with this. You have a friend, work with him, he will guide you. You are just coming today, so it's difficult for you to wrap up all what we've discussed and put it in your head. So, but work with him, he'll be able to guide you. Any other question? Mm. This is what I've said. I have already, I have already guide you on how to create a folder. Create a folder and put all the files inside and then compress it and share it and upload it using the Google form that I'm going to submit in the in the group. Uh-uh. You cannot convert folder to a PDF. No, no, don't convert it. Just put it. I want to use my computer and run it to see if it's working. You understand? When it's working, I'll give you a grade. Any other question? Well, I think as long as you are coming physical, we already have your attendance. No, I will not give that room. When you are physical, sign your attendance physical. If you are attending the lectures virtually, submit your attendance virtually. Although I know we have few issues in relation to those that are attending virtually, but we will handle it. Any other one? All right. Thank you all.